So we're now in one of my favorite cities in Europe, that's Bratislava, and it's not too far from Vienna, so if you happen to be there, you can always take a day trip over here from Vienna. Or, as me and my wife are doing today, we're going to be taking a weekend break, so we can get to show you guys a little bit more around the city, show you the local cuisines, and show you the wonders of Bratislava. So here we are now at the front of the presidential palace, where we have a beautiful fountain and the flags of Slovakia and the European Union waving behind us.
Bratislava is today the capital of the Slovak Republic, but prior to 1919, when it became a city in post-World War I Czechoslovakia, it was known in English by its German name Pressburg. Prior to World War I, Pressburg was a major city in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and for nearly 250 years between 1536 to 1783, it served as the capital of the Kingdom of Hungary. After World War II, Bratislava served as a major city in the country of Czechoslovakia. That was until 1993, when the Velvet Divorce following the Velvet Revolution peacefully dissolved the Czech and the Slovak nations into two new sovereign countries. Slovakia joined the European Union on 1st of May 2004 and the Eurozone on the 1st of January 2009. Bratislava today is bustling with curious tourists from all around the world who come to see a city that has rapidly emerged from its post-war past. A city that on one hand has maintained the charm of a cultural centre, epitomizing centuries of settled societies and nations situated right at the heart of Europe, but has simultaneously embraced the modern world and has conspicuously worked hard to keep the city practically spotless. Today, Bratislava is a city ever so welcoming to tourists, who are often taken back by its accommodating residents, landmarks, old courtyards, and cultural centres.
Well, I've been coming to Slovakia for a number of years now, and every time I've come over here, it seems that every single time it gets busier and busier. I mean, the main commercial street over here, which is parallel to the Danube and it's also next to the Old Town, it's just bustling with tourists, and it's fantastic. I mean, because I think this city is so underappreciated. There's so much to do and so much to see here, and the people here are so incredibly friendly. I just hope that this trajectory continues. When my wife said that we were going to go to a 1960s cafe, I was under the impression that it was going to be one of those sort of stereotypical, cheesy-looking 60s cafes that you find pretty much in every major city nowadays, which, don't get me wrong, I love them. What I didn't expect, and really what I should have expected, was that a 1960s cafe over here in Slovakia would have actually been emblematic of something that would have resembled the 1960s Czechoslovakia, and that is exactly what we've gotten. And I cannot tell you how incredibly fun this is to be here.
While in Bratislava, we happened to stumble upon a young diasporic group of Czech and Slovaks demonstrating their cultural dances to an open audience in Bratislava. This is demonstrable of the pride that many Slovaks have of their culture, regardless of where in the world they may reside today.
So if you're coming over here for a day trip from Vienna, you'll probably come over here either by bus or by train, and if you're coming by bus, that's the bus stop behind me.
One of the major advantages of the main bus station in Bratislava is that it gives tourists immediate access to the major landmarks of the city, such as the castle and Old Town.
So we're actually standing in Bratislava's old Jewish quarter. During the war, Slovakia actually became a satellite state of the Nazi regime. And unfortunately, most Slovak Jews were sent directly to the gas chambers of Poland. What we have over here is a memory of the old Jewish quarter and the Jewish residents of Bratislava.
Though Bratislava has experienced some trauma in its more recent history, one of the more major tourist sites of the city is far less somber, and that is the famous Bratislava Castle. Originally built in the 9th century, it was destroyed by a fire in 1811 and was almost set to be demolished entirely during the First Czechoslovak Republic. But then it was decided that the castle should be restored during the mid-20th century. Situated adjacent to the Slovak Parliamentary Building, the castle today houses the Slovak National Museum, complete with exhibition rooms displaying relics and information of the castle's history.
So the area in which the castle of Bratislava actually sits, throughout antiquity up until present day, has actually been resided upon by so many different cultures. What we're actually seeing right now over here in the castle, which is also the Slovak National Museum, is actually the ruins of an ancient Celtic culture that once resided upon this hill where the castle now stands. As well as the Celts, the Romans and then later the Slavs had inhabited this place.
The castle displays a beautiful interior, which in itself is something to be appreciated as a form of art. While on the topic of art, the museum also exhibits various forms of artwork, something for people of various artistic persuasions can enjoy. And of course, if I'm going to talk about Bratislava, I have to mention something about the food. And what you're seeing right now isn't a museum, it is indeed a restaurant.
Okay, so we're actually here at one of my favorite restaurants in Bratislava, known as the Flagship, and we've just ordered a Slovak food platter, so we get to show you what traditional cuisine of Slovakia looks like. But the other thing I want to show you is the Czech Republic and Slovakia's answer to Coke, and that's this thing over here called kofola, which in my opinion is one of the greatest soft drinks you could ever have in your life.
Of course, that is incredibly subjective, but I certainly think so. But on to the food. Here we have ordered the Slovak platter for two, which consists of halušky dumplings with sheet cheese and bacon, pierogi dumplings with sheet cheese and bacon, and then dumplings with kapustové, which is cabbage slices and bacon. For something more meaty, one can also order a traditional roasted sausage.
So one of my favorite experiences about spending the summer over here in Bratislava is being able to sit by the Danube in one of these boat restaurants and just having a drink and having a snack and just watching the river go by. I cannot tell you how incredibly satisfying this is.
If you really want a nice view of the sunset over the city, we would recommend going to the top of the UFO tower. The platform at the top sits at roughly 85 meters or 278 feet. The UFO tower also houses a bar and a restaurant overlooking the city.
Okay, so we're on top of the UFO tower to see some nice views, and it appears it's quite busy over here.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel.